Welcome to Book Notification at the Movies, where we look at the movies that you may or may not know were based on books. Today we're covering the films of 1985. Up first, we have the high school wrestling classic Vision Quest, starring Matthew Modine and Linda Fiorentino. The film is known for its great soundtrack and for being the first film appearance by Madonna. The movie is based on the 1979 novel of the same name by Terry Davis. The science fiction film Enemy Mine was based on a novella by Barry B. Longyear. That was the 1979 Nebula and 1980 Hugo Award winner for short fiction. Stephen King, of course, had a couple of his works turned into films in 1985, with Silver Bullet, based on his novella Cycle of the Werewolf, and Cat's Eye, an anthology film where two of the stories are from his collection Night Shift, and a third was written specifically for the movie. That was then. This is now was the fourth and final film adapted from a S.E. Hinton novel, and arguably the weakest. It stars Emilio Estevez, who also wrote the screenplay. This one surprised me. The Richard Pryor comedy Brewster's Millions was based on a book. Brewster's Million was a 1902 novel by George Barr McCutcheon. In the book, Brewster has to spend $1 million in a year, where the film switches it to Brewster having to spend $30 million in 30 days. Kiss of the Spider Woman features some incredible performances from William Hurt and Raul Julia. Based on Argentine author Manuel Puig's novel, which was banned in his home country for a time. Stick, directed by and starring Burt Reynolds, was based on an Elmore Leonard novel. Leonard wrote the screenplay, and the film was finished before the studio decided they didn't like the cut and made changes to the story. Scenes were rewritten and changed, with Leonard, Reynolds, and audiences all being disappointed with the final product. Fletch, of course, starring Chevy Chase, is based on a series of novels by Gregory MacDonald. There has been one sequel with Chase, and a reboot starring John Hamm, Confess Fletch, was released in 2022. The Color Purple was a Pulitzer Prize winning novel by Alice Walker, turned Oscar nominated film by Steven Spielberg. However, changes by Spielberg, and Spielberg being the director in general, has been a source of controversy ever since. Out of Africa won Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay at the Academy Awards. The film was based on Karen Blixen's 1937 memoir about her time spent living in Kenya. Finally, of course, there is Bond, James Bond, in A View to a Kill. The movie features the great Duran Duran song, the only Bond song to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It is adapted from a short story by Ian Fleming, but the screenplay is entirely original, sharing only the title. That's it for the book adaptations of 1985. Let me know of any I missed and what your favorites were in the comments.